Welcome ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to check out the PTS Waking Flame patch notes for week 1. This DLC features new dungeons and new sets, new furnishing items on eso-hub.com in the DLC chapter section. When you go to Waking Flame, you can actually already find all the furnishings, the two dungeons, Red Petal Bastion and the Dread Cellar, and all the sets. We listed them up. I will put the link in the description. I know there's still some images a little bit buggy, but usually takes a while to get the in-game icons for these, but it will be fixed by the time we are going live with this update. Anyway, let's take a look what they changed. There is quite a few things, like I said, new sets, then jamming point changes, passive changes, like there's a lot of things. So let's get it going. These are usually fairly long. Welcome to the version 7.1 and the Waking Flame DLC game pack. If you have ESO Plus, this will be free, by the way. Waking Flame adds 2 new 4-player dungeons to the game, Red Petal Bastion and the Dread Cellar. As expected, we have added several new collectibles, item sets, achievements and titles for you to acquire. In the base game, we have expanded the number of sets you can use in No Proc Cyrodiil campaign, with more on the way. Introduced 3 new item sets to reward of the worthy. Added a reply option to receive mail. Okay, this is actually cool. This always annoyed me, so this is a great quality of life improvement. And of course, I have a plethora of bug fixes for the entire game. For a high-level summary of the changes affected combat, please visit. Okay, this is the preview. Yeah, I read this a few days ago. I actually put that stuff up on my second YouTube channel, in case somebody wonders. But anyway, we'll go through most of the stuff anyway here. We have copied all PC NA characters. Yep. So if you do have the PTS, you downloaded it, you updated it, you can go test out the new update. If you find bugs or you have feedback on things you don't like, make sure to reuse the in-game reporting tool. Because that's usually the best way to tell them, hey, there is bugs, or like it's some stuff you don't like. Might get fixed, might not, you never know. Okay, 2 new dungeons. Cool. I will do walkthroughs on each of these just to showcase stuff and so on. I always like new dungeons, especially in the recent years. The new dungeons always they actually gotten better in my opinion. So cool. Both dungeons include normal vet version, yes, unique items, monster masks, achievements. There's a pretty cool body face marking. Let me actually see. Let me check if I actually can find. I spam a lot of things on Twitter, so make sure to follow me over there. Oh yeah, this one. It's not very high res because I took it out of as a live stream, but it's like the body marking you can get. This one looks actually pretty cool. Now, new item set. So let's go through these. Dread Cellar dungeon, so we have the light armor set, Scorion's Feast. Max Magicka, magic recovery, weapon spell damage. What is actually funny, because I read through these already because I had to add them on the Waking Flame here, obviously. Like, all the sets have like a wall of text. It's insane. But anyway, when you deal damage with a fully charged heavy attack, you gain an imbued aura for 10 seconds, granting you and up to 3 other group members 307 magic instant recovery. This effect can occur once every 20 seconds. If you deal damage with a fully charged heavy attack with an imbued aura active, consume it and gain an overflow aura for 10 seconds, granting you and up to 3 other group members 307 weapon and spell damage. So this is actually a good support set. Now the question is there better sets that you can use? Probably. but for like dungeon content, this is very solid. I like it. Obviously, endgame people won't really have sustain issues, but if you're in like more, if you pug a lot, or you're new to the game, then the Magicka Stamina recovery is very great. And obviously the spell damage and weapon damage as well. So it's not like super good, but it's definitely like decent, and you can actually make builds with this. Rush of Agony. Stem Wreck, weapon spell damage, offensive penetration. When you deal direct damage with a blink, charge, leap, teleport, or pull ability, pull enemies within 10 meters to you. After 2 seconds, deal physical damage to all enemies within 7 meters. This effect can occur once every 8 seconds and scales off the higher of your weapon and spell damage. The pull will not apply crowd control immunity to a target. Oh, what? This is actually funny. 10 meters is fairly close, but it's still kind of like an interrupt, because like it pulls the enemy to you, and the people that get pulled are very annoying most likely, because they have other things in mind. I'm surprised. Yeah, okay, I guess that's fine. We will see. They probably will change this to actually that you get CC at some point. Because if too many people use this just for some fun, it could look pretty weird, but anyway. Could be interesting to use, but like I don't see it like as like OP. Mostly annoying AF, because it doesn't apply CC stuff. We expect to see a lot of power from this set with its ability to pull enemies without applying crowd control. Okay, so it was specifically made in mind that it doesn't apply CC. In early internal playtesting, we experimented both with and without CC immunity application, and with it, the pull from this set felt challenging to engage with, as your goal was to keep everyone clumped up for a prolonged period of time for the boom, but you couldn't do it. With no CC immunity application, we hope there is both enough time to get out before you get hit with a big stun like Dawnbreaker or Smithing and Explosion from the set, and enough room to try and deny your opponent to do that. So, when I read this text, this set was made for PvP. The dungeon set, so it should be made for PvE. But yeah, when I read the text here, they clearly made it in mind for PvP, or like it's balanced around PvP. We will see. If several people use this in PvP and it doesn't give you like CC immunity, it could get very frustrating, because you constantly get pulled in. Unless there is a cooldown on the debuff itself. We will see anyway. When you use an ability that applies a major, so this is the next one, heavy armor, you get armor, max health, more armor. When you use an ability that applies a major or minor buff to yourself or an ally, send out a wave of energy that reduces the armor of nearby enemies within 12 meters by 3, 5, 4, 1 for 15 seconds. This effect can occur once every 12 seconds and will only occur if an enemy is within range. Okay, so is this a unique buff? If this is a unique buff, then it's actually quite powerful. Because we all know you want to reduce penetration as much as possible. And it's actually an AoE debuff. That's kinda crazy, to be honest. Yeah. This could actually be good. It's kinda like Alcast. They actually... I think they buffed Alcast in the patch notes. Alcast gives up to a maximum of 3000, but I think... Let me actually... They buffed it to like 6000 because it's a cone. And this set here is actually in a AoE, like basically a circle around you. it's even easier to apply. And again, it's another unique debuff. It's always the same thing with that stuff. Sauce keeps adding more unique debuffs till they realize, oh shit, there's too many. And now it's too easy to get values to 0 on enemies. And then they have to rework these into major, minor. But anyway, we hope this set will become a core group set. See what we did there. I mean, I guess they want us to use that in raids and stuff, but I don't understand the joke. I don't think it's funny, but anyway. Magma Incarnate. This is the monster mask. Adds 1 to 9 magic recovery, stem recovery. That's a lot of free recovery. Okay. It's always funny when Sauce, it's like, hey, 1 piece bonus. Okay. And we have a second 1 piece bonus. And we have a third. When we look at Judan used to be like this. I think they, yeah, so you get the armor piece, you get the max health and the resistance. I think once before it had even more, so it had kind of like 4 pieces, 4 bonuses. Like, okay, so it's basically a 5-piece set, disguised as a monster set. Anyway, when you heal yourself or a group member with a single target heal ability, grant the lowest health group member within 28 meters minor courage and minor resolve, increasing their weapon and spell damage by 215 and armor by 3k for 10 seconds. The Daedric energy will then bounce to a nearby group member up to 3 times, applying minor courage and minor resolve for 10 seconds. So will it bounce after 10 seconds or immediately? Good question. It obviously does have a cooldown. Armor is kinda irrelevant in most cases, so you can, like, I feel like spell power cure. Yeah, this one. When you overheal yourself or an ally, you give target major courage for... Oh, this is major courage. Oh shit, okay. Interesting. What other set does give minor courage? I can't remember. Oh, it's Yolnakrin, right? Is it? Yeah, when you taunt an enemy, give yourself and 11 group members minor courage for 15 seconds. Basically, you can keep it up 100% pretty much. But this is a monster mask, so it's definitely easier to use, but this goes on to 12 players. This is limited to 4. So it's a really good dungeon set, actually, monster set. Not so good for, like, trials. The Daedric energy will always prioritize low health group members. Yeah, sure. Then the next dungeon, Red Petal Bastion, Thundercaller, light armor, offensive penetration, weapon and spell damage, weapon spell damage. Dealing damage with a fully charged heavy attack calls a bolt of lightning at your target. Dealing shock damage and leaving a 4-meter lightning crater at their location for 6 seconds. Dealing shock damage per second to enemies touching the crater. This effect can occur once every 12 seconds and scales off the higher of your weapon damage. Doesn't sound really good because first off, you don't know how much damage it does, and if it's like AoE on the ground, and if it's only 4 meters, it's really hard to place enemies in there, and some might just walk out. Grizzly Gourmet Medium. That name. Max stem, weapon spell damage, penetration, max stem. Okay. Dealing light attack damage grants you a stack of Baker's Delight for 5 seconds. When you gain 3 stacks, you create a sweet roll next to your target for 5 seconds. If your ally touches the sweet roll both, you and your ally gain one of the following effects. Restore 1600 health, magic, stamina, gain empower for 10 seconds, gain major force for 10 seconds. This effect can occur once every 2 seconds. Okay. Sounds fun. I guess, I honestly don't know. It sounds fun to use, but if it's RNG, it might be hard. Like the only buff I really want is Major Force. Sure, Empower is also nice, but anyway, it is what it is. It's cool though that they actually added another extra bonus here. And the cooldown is very small, so if you're lucky, 3 light attacks, yeah, you won't be able to keep them up 100%, but I'm also not sure if you can get twice the health, magic and stamina in a row. So this would definitely be a fun set playing around. Silver Rose Vigil. Heavy. Stam, health, stam. Blocking an attack grants you a stack of Realm Shape for 15 seconds, gaining up to 11 stack. To 1 stack every 0.5 seconds. When you reach 3 stacks, you consume them and launch necrotic energy at your attacker, dealing magic damage and applying major maim for 12 seconds. Reducing damage down by 10%. Once you fire the necrotic energy, you cannot gain additional stacks of Realm Shaper for 12 seconds. Okay. I'm not sure if you can dodge roll the necrotic energy or how fast it is. Sounds decent. Heavy armor. I'm not really sure if it's like, it sounds like it's made for PvP, but Major Maim is great obviously. You can almost keep this up 100%. Not fully, but almost. Blocking an attack, yeah. It's only 1 target though, so yeah, anyway. I don't know. Prior Fieric, or however you pronounce that, is another monster mask. You get weapon spell damage. Dealing direct damage with an area of effect ability creates a 6-meter shadowy whirlwind below your enemy for 7 seconds. Enemies within the whirlwind take physical damage each second and increase their damage taken from your AoE abilities by 5%. Okay, this is actually juicy as hell. For dungeons and raids. Yes, the cooldown is long, so like it only lasts 7 seconds, but if you're a good group, trash fights usually don't last that long, like things just get deleted. So the 5% buff is actually pretty cool. I like this one. And it also deals damage in addition to that. You could, like 2 people could probably use this to keep up the blades like 100% of the time, pretty much. But it procs with direct damage with AoE abilities, so it's kind of hard to time it, but anyway. So overall, there is some good sets, some stuff I kind of like don't understand, but it's just like a wall of text for all these sets. Kinda, I don't know. They gotta keep these things short, simple. But anyway, the sets have definitely been getting better, so this is cool. There will also be 3 new Cyrodiil sets later, I guess, in the patch notes. So we get new collectibles, outfit styles, new furnishings. That stuff is already on EzoHub, like I mentioned before. We put all of them here. Some of the images are still missing, but we will start uploading the images once we get access to the PTS. Then you can actually see how they look like. New achievement titles, sure. New motifs. Waking Flame has 2 new motifs available for testing. Zul'Xan motif. from Rockgrove Weekly Quest. Yeah, the other motive is Black Fin motive. From Blackwood Delve Dailies. Okay. Now, base game. PvP campaign changes. For update 31, the existing no CP Cyrodiil and Imperial City commands will now also prohibit proc sets from firing. We have expanded the number of sets from the original grouping that worked during the initial test several months ago. Okay. As a refresher, the following sets were not affected by this rule set when it was originally implemented back in February. Basically a list of all sets. It was only like 18 sets that you could use in the no proc Cyrodiil test. Then the following sets will function with these campaign rules during this week's PTS patch and when update 31 launches. So basically, the existing no CP Cyrodiil and Imperial City campaign will be turned into a no proc campaign, no champion points campaign, and no Volendrang campaign. I mean, it already had no champion points, but yeah. And instead of only having these sets here, they actually extended the list. So you have a few more sets to choose from. Which is good because it got really stale only having like 18 sets, but it's still not a lot more. But anyway, it's better than nothing. In the coming weeks, the following sets will be added and will be included with update 31. Okay, there's even more sets that they will add. Additionally, we will be disabling Volendrang in the no CP and no proc campaign. Okay. Basically a new test because, well, I don't know. I mean, the biggest complaint is that the performance is garbage. And I do agree that this is the biggest problem. Having no CP, no proc, no Volendrang probably helps against that, but it's still not enough. If the campaign is pop cap, like pop locked, it still lags. These things, positional, these things and all that crap are insane. But anyway, this might still help a little bit and might bring more balance to Cyrodiil, because it's kind of like a shit show, but there's just been too many new sets. It's too easy to not die, especially for experienced players. New players usually get 2-shot. So there's like these... Cyrodiil has like 2 big gaps, right? Like there's like the very experienced players which basically don't die anymore. And then there's the very inexperienced players that just get 1-shot. Or 2-shot. But anyway, rewards for the worthy. They added 3 new item sets. Dark Convergence, Light Armor, Max Magicka, Penetration Weapon Spell Damage. Casting abilities that leave an effect on the ground will create an area that applies a 30% snare and pulls enemies every 2 seconds after 0.5 second delay and stuns them for 1 second. After 4 seconds, the area deals magic damage to all enemies in the area and additional magic damage to enemies within 3 meters of the center, increasing the damage by 10% for each target. The effect can occur once every 20 seconds and scales off the higher of your weapon and spell damage. So, casting abilities that leave an effect on the ground will create an area that applies a 30% snare and pulls enemies every 2 seconds. So it's basically like a pulse that keeps sucking people in. Like a reverse pulse. It snares and pulls them in and stuns them. And after 4 seconds, the area deals magic damage. I actually wonder if you could stack this. So this is basically made for choke points. So people can't just run through that stuff. But then if you run with Snow Treaders, snare immunity, I guess, still won't help. Let's actually see what they have. This set was designed with one goal in mind: kill large groups. Pesky Zerg sitting on your keep or resource flag, send them to the void. Okay. So basically for choke points, or like when a lot of people camp on a flag or something, then you can drop this set in. Might be cool. Like if several people can create these kind of like circles, that actually could be cool. Now, I don't know how much damage it will deal. and if it's really enough to kill off targets, we will see. So I guess it's good for just when people stack at the flag. The thing is, large groups, or especially experienced groups, are usually always fast, and when you see a group like, I don't know, running through a door, they're usually always further ahead on the server, because like the server client side is so desync, the players are never at the place where you actually see them, because the server just can't keep up. It's like stupid. That's also why a lot of light attacks don't hit your target, because only because you see the player at this position doesn't mean that the server thinks he's there. That's why a lot of light attacks don't go out. Then animation bugs happen and all that crap. But anyway, actually like this set. It's a cool idea. Plague Break, medium. Penetration, weapon spell damage, Dealing direct damage to an enemy turns them into a plague carrier for 10 seconds. Dealing disease damage over the duration. If the plague is removed early, it explodes, infecting enemies with 8 meters of the carrier, dealing disease damage. The explosion deals an additional 10% per enemy hit. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds and scales off of the higher weapon still. Oh yeah, here also I forgot about that. It increases the damage by each target. And I guess there is no cap on there, so that can actually deal a lot of damage if there is people stacking. So here, dealing direct damage to an enemy turns them into a plague carrier for 10 seconds. So it's one player that gets like infected, and then this is basically made for purge spammers. Like good groups always like to have a dedicated purger just to get rid of negative effects, and now this will actually punish them and apply a damage over time effect. If the plague is removed early, it explodes. So if they remove the dot, it explodes, infecting enemies within 8 meters of the carrier, dealing disease damage. And if they keep purging, it will keep exploding. So they can't really get rid of this. Okay, that's actually cool. These are good sets, nice. Let's see. Similar to Dark Conversions, we targeted large groups again with this set, focusing on their ability to have numerous purges running, making locking them down and bleeding them out incredibly difficult to do. Now large groups must purge more carefully, running the risk of setting off ticking time bombs and having to heal up the aftermath instead of repeatedly casting it with reckless abandon. Yeah, we will see. Maybe the healing is too good, so they can keep spamming that shit, but this, I actually like the set. It's a cool idea. Rovkar's Chill, heavy. Max health, armor, penetration. Stunning or immobilizing your enemy causes them to burst with frost magic, applying the chill status effect and dealing 26% of their total physical and spell resistance as frost damage to themselves and enemies within 8 meters. 7 set. Stunning or immobilizing your enemy. Yeah, okay. When you stun them or CC them or root them, then frost damage to apply chill status effect and deal 26%. Okay, I guess this is made for like tanks. Okay, sounds decent, but I don't know how. 26% off. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this doesn't sound that exciting, but these two up here, the Plague Break and the Dark Conversions, are really good. Now, would I have added new sets for this? Not really. I would have just taken 3 old sets, so they're useless, and actually reworked them. Because we have like over 500 sets in this game already. Do we really need new ones? Like there's like 400 useless sets that nobody uses, could have just changed 3 of them. But I guess new sets are more exciting and get people more hyped. Anyway. Multi-threaded rendering. So this is cool. They're trying to like avoid stacking, but overall PvP not very enjoyable. It just lags, desyncs, it's horrendous to be honest. Like, and this won't change it. Multi-threaded rendering. is an optional performance optimization available in the video settings panel. This option enables a separate thread for the render process, which can improve performance and provide a smoother overall experience if the limiting factor on your device is CPU processing rather than GPU processing. Please note that if you have this option enabled, you may hear your PC graphics working hard during loading screens. This is expected with the frame rate now being uncapped during loading. Okay, I remember a few people actually complained about their GPU going like sky high in loading screens, so maybe that was because of this. So if you have a GPU that is basically on vacation, which is very likely with ESO, because like you could literally plug in a potato instead of your GPU and ESO would run, because all processes are made on the CPU. So if they actually can put more processes on the GPU, this will help increase FPS even further. So this is actually a very good thing if it works. Very good thing. We have added new rules for determining which things you will interact with when there's a potential conflict. Generally speaking, interactable objects that are valuable, such as resource nodes and lootable corpses, will have priority over things that are mobile or player-made, such as companions and mementos. Okay. You should also, that kind of sucks for me. I like to troll people with mystery meat. You should also have less of a problem attempting to interact with doors, dice stations, and other permanently available interactable objects. But yeah, this is like good, right? A lot of people place like the Jubilee cake in front of the door, and then people can't enter it anymore, or like they put the pets onto the crafting grid daily boxes, and then people can't interact with that stuff anymore. So this will actually fix this. Very good. If it works. Mail reply. We have added a reply option to receive mail, which will open a new mail with the subject line and player name pre-populated. Thank God. This is a really good quality of life improvement. I like it. Weird that it took that long. But good. I like it. New collectibles. We are currently working on EzoHub as well, like adding all fashion and outfit stuff, basically motifs, collectibles. We will put everything there, so you can actually upload screenshots as well. A lot of the items, I don't know, maybe target. Like a lot of the items do already have an image, and we'll upload more. We're working on adding more, like I think we do already have motif styles. We'll be adding more. Then players can actually upload images and so on. And we'll upload images as well. We can check out all that stuff. But it's still work in progress. Might take a while. But eventually we'll have a full fashion section. Or fashion outfit, collectibles, or whatever you want to call it. New homes. Sweetwater Cascade, Doomchair Plateau. I actually just recently bought a house in Varnfell on the Acer because I didn't have one yet. More furnishings. Like I said, we already have all the furnishings on EzoHub, but we're still missing images, but should be there soon. Prologue quest, then template, same thing as always. Companions. Okay. Companion idle animations now transition more smoothly. Bastion will now verbally respond less often to players looting high quality items. That's a lot of change. Jesus, fix. I don't know, I haven't really, like, for the stuff I played, endgame stuff, I don't really never use the companions, which kinda sucks. I haven't even finished leveling them up, but maybe, I don't know. Okay, Rockgrove Trial. Okay. Anyway, where's other here? Combat. Okay, so drastically improve the backend scripting of taunt to be more responsive and follow its intended rules better. This should fix multiple issues where taunts would sometimes lose target context, exhibit issues when cast from range, and had race conditions, where some parts of the hidden behaviors such as taunt immunity would still apply to a target even if you fail to taunt them. So in some, especially in trials like tanks, they taunt the enemy, the skill goes through, it hits the target, and the enemy's just like, I don't know, didn't see anything. And then people die. So I hope this will actually help fix this issue. That would be great. It's not only an issue in trial, it also happens in dungeons and so on. Updated break free to follow a more consistent cost rule when compared to other abilities. This will reduce situations where you could desync your stamina bar when using. Many bonuses that reduce its cost have also been changed to be handled naturally by the server rather than as an ability. Naturally by the server, whatever that means, okay. Increase the damage taken reduction from the Battle Spirit passive to 55% up from 44%. I really don't know if this is a good idea. After recent adjustments to base character stats, champion points, and item set scaling, we have seen a significant shift in the meta in ways that we wanted. In many cases, in other areas, primarily burst damage and overall time to kill. We have seen a pretty radical shift to something that's dangerously low. In efforts to expand the window of time to kill, we are upping the effective base player damage reduction from 50% to 60%. Remember that players naturally take 10% less damage now, which is why Battle Spirit was reduced to 44% to preserve the original 50%. To make up for that, as stats always have, especially in no CP. I talked to some PvP folks and they said, like, I mean, like I mentioned before, you have the very good players that don't die, and they will even die less now with this damage mitigation boost. And then you have new players or inexperienced players that just get two-shot. Right? And this won't fix the issue. Right? Like, the cliff is too far apart. The experienced players play the game for 5-6 years. They know all the tricks. They know when to block incoming attacks. They have a lot of like buffs active all the times, whereas new players, they have nothing. They forget to keep up their healing, their buffs. They don't block hard-hitting abilities. They don't dodge roll. That's why they die fast. Right? So just increasing the damage mitigation will make the cliff even further apart, in my opinion, because the experienced players will die even less. I don't like this. It's also kind of a solution which shows they don't know how to fix the problem. It's like, well, okay, we made so many changes and now these things are super weird, so let's just slap more damage mitigation on the Battle Spirit. Don't like it. Stupid move, but anyway, maybe I'm wrong. The following passives and player abilities now grant hybrid stats to help improve their viability and accessibility to off-meta builds. Shit, did I just... Okay, there we go. Agility now grants equal weapon and spell damage. Okay. Is that the medium armor? Ah shit, this is the weapon. Agility. This is stupid. I don't know. I feel like they want us to use a mix between medium and light armor, like... Anyway, whatever. Balanced Warrior now grants 1320 armor rather than 2006 spell resistance. Yeah, I expected this. This is actually a good change, and now grants equal weapon and spell damage value. And this is like, while I dislike this change because medium armor is meant for rogue playstyle or like, I don't know, like just up in your face with two-handed dual wield. Why the F would you need spell damage? Stupid. But Balanced Warrior is a class passive that right now gives weapon damage and spell resistance, and that's it. So it was like the weapon damage is useless for a Magicka character. So it's actually good that it now gives weapon and spell damage and armor for spell and physical resist. That's a good change. The reason why I'm annoyed by this is, like, I like the difference between magic and stamina builds. And the more things like that change, I feel like I'm gonna run around on a stamina character with a staff at some point because it's just better, and that's just stupid. But maybe because I played the game for so long, it has always been like that. I'm just annoyed by the change because I'm used to old stuff. I don't know. Anyway. Brutal Carange's bonus now grants equal weapon and spell damage. Brutal Carange. I guess Carnage, right? I think this is a werewolf. Is this yeah, Brutal Carnage. Okay, this is the werewolf thing. Okay, okay. Now grants equal weapon and spell damage. Increases your weapon damage by 100 for each enemy hit. Next time it will be spell damage as well. Maybe Sauce wants to get rid of magic and stamina. They just want to have like, okay, this is a sorcerer. That's it. There is no magic and stamina anymore because most people that come from other games don't understand it anyway. Concentration now grants equal offensive penetration. Okay, I think this is light armor stuff, right? Yeah. Increases your spell penetration and physical penetration again. For magic builds, why do I need physical pen? Anyway, whatever. Dexterity now increases critical damage and healing down per piece worn up to 2%. Rather than weapon crit, yeah. So this is actually the biggest kick in the nuts. This is a medium, like... I'm just annoyed at this shit, seriously. Anyway, medium armor, passive. At the moment, it gives you weapon critical. Saul said, fuck you. This is gonna give you critical damage. Because they actually moved the critical rating to light armor. So as Prodigy now grants, yeah, I don't know why they say critical chance, yeah. So they basically moved the critical rating stat. So if you have 12% weapon crit, they moved that stuff to light armor and now you get critical damage. I mean, yes, they can do that, but what's the point? Like, it's just useless balancing stuff. But anyway, whatever. Flawless Dawnbreaker bonus now grants equal weapon and spell damage. Okay, that's actually cool. This used to give... By the way, you can use the search box here to search a lot of things. After activating, your weapon damage is increased by 300. Yeah, so this is actually good that it gives spell damage. I like it. Because the ultimates are used by several characters. I'm just a little bit annoyed at that medium light armor stuff, right? Like, Magicka characters are supposed to wear light armor, stamina is supposed to wear medium armor in most cases, but now I feel like they want us to use like 4 medium 3 light or 4 light 3 medium mix. I don't get what's the end game here. Savage Strength, same here. Scaled armor also changed. No, okay, yeah, sure. Most of the changes are good here. I just don't understand that light medium armor, hybridization stuff. Confusing. So adjust many player abilities to no longer attempt to remove stealth or invisible when they should not. They should have added here for the 23rd time. I think they try to fix this every patch and it never works. We will see if it now is fixed. This is also expanded to any damage over time effect rather than only single targeting. We will see. It's great if it is actually fixed, but so far they tried to fix this so many times and failed every time. So we will see. If it's really fixed, great. If not, then what? I'm not even gonna read this. Dragon Knight, Magma Armor, fix, Necro, fix. The Flame Skill, the bonus damage from this ability and its Morph Sphere cost has now been built into their damage coefficients, rather than as a bonus modifier effect. This will clean up some calculation errors. Nightblade, fix, Overload, Light attacks from this ultimate morphs now break stealth and cost. There's nothing sneaking about there. Okay, that's good. I think some people used to gank with that stuff. Templar, Dawn's Wrath. Backlash, this ability's morphs now retain 50% of the damage you dealt to the target, up from 20%. To help be more reliable in PvP. The final explosion now scales off your spell or weapon damage depending on the morph, rather than magic or stamina. The final explosion now also scales with both positive and negative bonuses. Okay, so this is probably a buff. I'm not sure what the values they took, but because you have a lot more spell and weapon damage than you have like magic and stamina in terms of power values. We'll see. Jesus Beam, fix. Radiant Oppression. This morph no longer increases the damage done of the ability based on your current max magic, but instead increases the damage scaling of the execute multiplier to 500. This should retain roughly the overall maximum power of the morph, but with far less micromanagement. Okay, so this is actually a buff. Yeah. I usually always had low magicka in execute, so cool. Sure. Got a little nerf, but it's still 15 seconds is more than enough. Okay. Increase the bonus of both the Inferno and Lightning Staff types to 10%, up from 8, to help better match the power. Okay, so small buff. Destructive Touch. This ability and its morphs now guarantees their respective elements type status effect on hit. Before it activated on activation, I guess. Okay. The Frost Touch and Reach version of this now deal 80% more damage on its initial hit to make them equal to other ranged spammable damage. To give love to those Frost DPS there. I just don't understand. It's like in the Rubble era, he was a developer for all the new folks here. It's like it used to be Frost was just here, but nobody used it. Then Rubble one day woke up. It's like, hey, we could use this destruction stuff armor, this destruction stuff type Frost. Make it as a tank stuff, so it was tank. Then he got booted, new people came in, they changed it to be like support-ish role. And now it's supposed to be DPS again, but still not. It's kind of like tank. I don't. It's like, please decide what you want to do with Frost. Elemental Force. This passive now probably states it affects all status effect changes rather than only elemental status effects. Sure. Wait, what? Force Shock can be reflected? Okay, this is cool. I like it. Dual Wheel, Bloodthirst. This morph now heals for up to 33% of the damage on per hit rather than up to 63%. of the... Ah, okay, so each hit now heals instead of only the final hit, sure. This will result in slightly more healing effectiveness and more responsive healing. Yeah. So you get more consistent healing. That's actually a good change, like it. Resto stuff. Absorb is passive now procs on any successful block rather than only against spells, which was already a half proof as it procced on plenty of non-spells as well. Increase the restore to 600 up from 550. Sure. Essence Drain. Increase the duration of major mending from passives to 4 seconds up from 3. Sure. Fix. Berserker Strike. Fix. Cleave. Oh yeah, they said they buffed two-hander a little bit. This ability and the Carve Morph now apply a damage shield on you when cast equal to the scaling coefficient of the initial hit. Note it does not grant a shield based on damage done. Increases the cost of all versions to 3,510 from 3,240. Adjusted the area of all versions to hit in a 300-degree arc with a 5-meter radius rather than 140. Damn. Wait, what? It's almost full AoE now. Okay, that's crazy. To better line up with the deck's visuals, appearance, and help. Okay. Brawler Morph. Increase the base size of this morph's energy by 7%. Yeah. The bleed from this morph can now stack up to 3 times. Blood for the Blood God. Okay. That's a big fat buff. Brawler is currently the clear winner in terms of morph options. Yes. You can literally not die if you spam Brawler. Every time you... That's why, like, on alcasthq, on all solo builds, you just slap on Daddy Brawler and you will not die if you use this. Because every time you use the shield, or you use the ability, you get a 20k shield. Like, I actually made a few videos here that you can check it if you want to check it out. Easy peasy, it's in the solo section on alcasthq. As it scales far more effectively in power per target. This, paired with the fact that melee builds require staying power, make the defensive option the clear winner, and makes Scar feel weak, no matter how high the damage could be adjusted. By adding a baseline shield to these abilities, we hope to see more effective active choices between the morphs. Will you let the blood flow for you and your enemy, or staunchly stand in their faces? I mean, for solo builds, Brawler is still the clear winner. However, in like dungeons or raids, where good players don't die that often, Carve could actually be the good option, right? Previously, like 2 years ago, when stamina was still meta, Brawler was still used to get carried through Sunspire because the trash packs killed you off. But now, people know how to not die there, so they might actually choose Carve now because the bleed is strong. I would still prefer Brawler, because trash dies fast anyway, and I would rather not die than reset 20 times because one guy thought 2k more DPS was more important than resetting 20 times. But anyway. Soul Locked is passive now, procs on any killing blow rather than only killing blows with a weapon attack. Sure. Fix Vampire. Vampiric Drain. This ability and its morphs now heal for 25% of your missing health per tick, up from 23. Sure. Small changes. I guess these are fine. I'm just wondering, like, don't you have anything better to do than like make these micro management changes? Fighter skill, the Expert Hunter. This ability and the Camouflaged Hunter morph now reveal hidden enemies within 8 meters of you, up from 6 meters. Thank God. All versions of this ability now check for hidden enemies every 500 milliseconds instead of once every second. Cool. All versions of this ability now prevent stealth and invisibility for 4 seconds, up from 3. The hidden passive from this ability and its morphs, Sense Evil, now only highlights player, werewolves, and vampires rather than any undead, daedra, or werewolf. This change was done to better represent the targets your skill tracker bonus works against. Evil Hunt. This morph now also increases the radius of the reveal to 12 meters. This is a good change. I always felt that Expert Hunter, basically the base morph of Camo Hunter, Neville Hunter, felt underwhelming in PvP. Like it was so like if you had Nightblades close by and you used this, you still had no chance of revealing them. This will actually change things. Way better now. So that's a good change. Skill tracker. Now again, does it matter? Not really. Performance in Cyrodiil is still garbage. But anyway. Skill tracker, this passive now increases your damage with fighter guild abilities by 10% and an additional 10% against player werewolves and vampires. Rather than increasing your damage done with fighter guild abilities. Okay. So this increases your damage with fighter guild abilities against any enemy for 10% and then another 10% against werewolf and vampires. That's actually cool. Like, this passive is currently attempting to validate a very long list of specific target checks on the backend to apply its damage bonus. Rather than continuing this, it will now only check 3 things instead of 23. That's a big change. Each time you deal damage while retaining its flavor in PvP. Again, what the combat team is trying to do, a lot of the abilities, you have one ability and it has to do like 300 server checks, which obviously clogs the server. Like it just chokes him up. And then the hamsters start dying and shit just like goes south and you get lag. So if they manage to reduce the server checks on all abilities down like from 23 to 3, that's an insane improvement. And at some point it actually might have an effect on server performance. It probably will not be enough, but it's a start. Trap Beast, this ability and its morphs traps now last for 15 seconds after the delay rather than 1 minute. Okay, sure. Mage's Guild, Fire Room. This ability and its morphs trap now lasts 15 seconds rather than 30. Okay, Mage Light. They also buffed in the light the reveal hidden to 8 meters. Cool. Basically got the Expert Hunter treatment. Cool. Suchik Order. This passive no longer grants major protection and instead applies a unique 30% damage mitigation. My effing god. What have you done? Okay. Like, there has literally been builds. They press this button and they go AFK. Because nothing can kill them. Because you can stack other mitigation buffs and shit. And now you can get the unique 30% and another 10% from major protection from another skill or set. Sure. I don't know. Obviously it's only active as long as you channel, right? But still. That's a risky change. Nobody asked for it either, so I don't get. Imbue Weapon, Crushing Weapon. This morph now applies Major Breach to the target hit for 6 seconds. Rather than healing for 25% of the damage. Paused. To help ensure the thing being crushed wasn't your dreams. Okay. Whoopsie whoopsie, that was the wrong button. Like, that's a big... Back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. This morph now applies Major Breach. That's a big fat buff. The healing was useless anyway. So, okay, sure. Undaunted. Inner Fire, this ability and morphs will now only apply their unique visuals if the synergy is successfully applied to the target. Okay. Inner Beast Morph. Increase this morph damage taken bonus on target to 12 at base, up from 2%. Damn. That's also a big fat buff. Somebody really felt generous here, eh? Detonation. Reduce the base damage of this ability and its morphs by 6%, but increase the scaling per target to 100, up from 25. The ability will now deal less damage than a normal area of effect spammable until it hits 3 or more targets. Okay. Flare. This ability and its morphs now prevent stealth and invisibility for 4 seconds instead of 3. This ability and its morphs now passively grant major protection while slotted to ensure they do not feel lackluster to slot and not actively trying to deny stealth or invisibility, similarly to Mage Light or Expert Hunter, granting major buffs. So you get 10% free damage mitigation. That's pretty good, to be honest. Does Flare have any other? Blinding and lingering flare. Stunned. Not really. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, champion points. There is actually a lot of new stars. Like always on ESOHub, we will add the new stuff to the calculator here. There will basically be 3 new sub perks in this fitness tree. Added 3 new sub constellations to this tree, focusing on more core combat gameplay interaction as well as focusing on more universal engagement for PvE encounters. Each of these constellations is filled with new slottable stars. So it's not passives. The reason why they only implement slottable stars is so, like, there will be no power creep basically. Because if you add more passive stars, the characters will gain more in power again and get more and more stronger. Which will give power creep the juicy sugar it needs. Wind Chaser sub-constellation. Celerity, celery, yeah, whatever. Movement speed, Major Expedition, Health and Magrek. While sprinting, okay. You can get 500 health and magic recovery while sprinting. I wonder if that works by just holding down the shift button. Would be funny. Survivor Spite sub-constellation, focused on pushing back and fighting against the odds. Sustained by suffering. Increase your health, magic and stamina recovery by 30 under the effect of negative effects. Okay. Pain's Refugee reduces your damage taken by 1% per negative effect on you up to a maximum of 20. So you can gain 20% damage mitigation? That sounds like a lot. Obviously you need 20 negative effects, but still. Relentlessness, gain major protection for 3 seconds after being stunned. Walking Fortress sub-constellation, focus on block and damage shield. Bracing Anchor, increase block mitigation by 4% per stage, but lowers your movement speed by 16 at all stages. So wait. Okay, so you basically can't move anymore if you have max. Sure. Ward Master reduces your damage taken by 2% while blocking with a damage shield. Soothing Shield, when you successfully block an attack, you have a 15% chance to restore 147 health per stage. And none of these really sound like juicy, but I guess sure, why not. Ironclad renamed his passive to Fortify to prevent confusion for legacy players, as the original Ironclad has made its return into Warfare. Okay. So Ironclad is now called Fortified, and they actually implemented Ironclad in Warfare for direct damage. Yeah, here. The champion star makes its return as slottable star, reducing damage taken from direct damage attacks by 2%. So, itemization and updated several item sets to be more performant on the server. The following item sets can now be used in campaigns that do not allow. Yeah, okay, we saw that before. Consumables, prismatic weapon. Oh yeah, that pissed off a lot of people. This enchantment now deals damage equal to a normal absorb enchantment, and it restores health, magic, and stamina equal to half of the potency of a single resource. So they basically killed off the extra damage on undead, Daedra, vampire, and werewolves because it was too much stress for the server to handle. And now they gave us this one, which nobody will use. I don't know. But okay. It would be good, like, I would understand it if I would actually feel that server performance gets better. But it doesn't. That's why I'm usually annoyed. Pelinal's Aptitude. Rename this set to Pelinal's Wrath. This set now grants you a damage shield based on weapon and spell damage, and a stack of Wrath of White Stake. Wrath of White Stake grants you up to 100 weapon and spell damage per stack, but causes you to take 1% your max health as Oblivion damage every second per stack. This set's 2 through 4 piece bonus are now weapon and spell damage, penetration, weapon, spell damage. Whatever, man, I don't know. Might be good, might be not. It's just so much text for all, like... Crush Shade. This set now grants you damage shield based on your weapon spell damage for 6 seconds and creates an area of effect beneath you for 10 seconds whenever you deal direct damage with a blink, charge, lead, teleport attack. Every 2 seconds, the area grants you and your group members insight minor courage for 12 seconds. Okay, that's actually cool. Pestilent Host. This set can now stack between multiple wearers. What does this do again? Whenever you kill an enemy afflicted with a poison effect, their corpse releases a riffing mass of petrifies, which seeks out the nearest enemies within 12 meters, causing them to bleed for X bleed damage over 10 seconds. Okay, sure. Pillar of Nirn. The initial hit from this set can now be properly blocked. This set now has a 2.1 second cooldown. Yeah, I mean, nobody uses Thunderflame. Nobody will use it now. Why bother changing it? Unleash Terror. This set is now properly labeled as a proc. Viper Sting. Monster Masks. Kjalnar Nightmate fixed. Then Crocs. Sure. Celine updated this set to no longer spawn a real spirit bear pet and now summons a visual bear to maul your foes. Huh? Also, that was a ish. Okay, I see. So it actually counted as a pet and procced Necro, and now it's kind of like just a ability ghost. So it won't proc sets anymore. That's funny, I actually didn't know that. Yeah, Stormfist. This set can now be probably spelled as it's pretty darn magical when you think about it. Yeah, whatever. Fix Overland. This Nicholas Heavy Arm. This set now grants a stack of Nicholas Resolve for 5 seconds whenever you block. Which after 8 stacks you can consume them and completely avoid the next direct damage attack made against you with 5 seconds. I mean, nobody used the set before, nobody will use it afterward. So Why bother changing it? I don't get it. The reason why I'm always annoyed with this is they could spend these resources on actually more important things and just YOLO changing old sets. Sifis Touch. This set now grants 5% movement speed for 30 seconds when you kill an enemy up to 20 and grants invisibility for 3 seconds when activated. Vice Cannon of Venom, the damage over time from this set can now stack from multiple issues. So Alcast received a big fat buff, increased his set's armor reduction cap to 6,000, up from 3,000. Perhaps damage dealers will finally wear it, but probably not. There is just too many other sources or easier ways to get the resistance of a boss to 0. But yeah, 6k is a lot. Sulksan's Torment. Fix. The power of the set is designed around it being selfless in nature and would require reduction in power to retain this oversight. Oh, okay, sure. The telekinetic prison ability is no longer a 6 or 4 second disorient and is instead an outright 4 second stun, making it less prone to issues when paired with other crowd control. I don't... Is that the room prison? Nah, it's not that. Telekinetic prison ability. I mean, if it says an ability, it should be in our database. But it is not, so okay. Probably. It's probably an effect of an ability, not the ability itself. Yeah. Lots of roleplay. Mid-year Mayhem, in preparation for a renaming of this event for next year, you will note that the number of help reference achievement names. Okay. The new event name will be White Strakes Mayhem, retaining its connection to perennial White Strake but reworked in context so it can run multiple times per year. Sure. I guess so. They want to have this. They want to have the mid-year Mayhem active several times a year, not only like once. I guess that's pretty much it. Overall, I do like the patch notes. There, like the new dungeons, the new sets, collectibles and so on, it's all great stuff. The only thing I'm a little bit annoyed by is once again a lot of useless changes. They could invest that time in more important things that are still broken or need changing. But sometimes I just feel like they wake up in the morning, today I'm gonna change this, today I'm gonna change. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe they have a bigger plan, who knows. Once again, on EzoHub, you actually, in the DLC chapter section, you can find the Waking Flame stuff already here. 2 dungeons, all the furniture, all the sets. I will put the link in the description. Please also make sure not to forget to subscribe here on my YouTube channel. I'm constantly doing videos. I do have a second YouTube channel where I will always upload my past live streams and will start doing shorts. We have a Twitter. The Dwemer Automaton now actually also has Twitter. This is our Discord, Twitch and Telegram bot. I will also put the Twitter link into the description. Let me actually see Dwemer Automaton. Yeah, this one here. So we're currently growing this, and this guy handles notifications for endeavors, pledges, news, patch notes, and all that stuff. Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. We have a big Discord community server where we always post news. For example, like I posted all the new sets, the new dungeons, all that stuff here. The ESO official news, luxury, golden vendor, all that stuff is here. On ESO Hub, you can also find endeavors, events, Twitch drops, undaunted pledges, golden luxury furniture. It's all here so you can keep track of it. All sets, skills, and so on. And obviously on alcasthq, you will find all the juicy builds. I will update them once we get closer to the end of the public test server, because there's a few changes like that medium light armor stuff. I actually gotta look at how that will play out. That might give us some small changes. Overall, I don't really see gear changing that much, because most of the gear there is either PvP or like for dungeons. Yeah. But anyway, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.